Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this trade review today, I just want to recap my trades I took today. Took 3 trades in total. The first trade was an accidental entry and I did get greedy, so I'll go into that, but I'll just quickly go through what I'm looking at. So on the MES, this is the MES 5-minute chart and we had the opening candle at 9:30, which we saw a big red negative reaction to on quite high volume. So I was waiting for the 15-minute opening range. So we already established the high of the range, which is this 58-55 area, and then at 9:45 we established the low. And then what I would usually try and do is put my order in place to sell on the low of the candle that breaks through and closes below this opening range low. However, I made a bit of a mistake. I put my order in place to break the previous candle, and you can see I went short here, and initially I thought it was okay and I got greedy. I should have just instantly realized I made a mistake, and my stop was always going to be above that candle, and as you can see I got stopped out on that candle. So that was a 1 hour loss, and it wasn't even a trade. It was a mistake, error, and an entry mistake. What I really wanted to do was set up the next candle. So waiting for the next candle, we had this big wide range candle come in, and it's quite a wide candle, so I don't really like trading these wide candles because my risk of this candle, I only want to risk $100 per Apex account, and this candle was about $200. So I took the entry as it broke down, and it looked good because look at this increased volume, decrease in price, exactly what you want to see. And then we had this big bottom tail on increased volume as well. And then we had this next green candle, and you can see it's kind of a bit of a muted candle, bottom tail candle as well. And so even though my stop was up here and I was willing to take a slightly bigger than 1 hour loss on it, I already lost 1 hour today by mistake. And so I decided just to tighten up my stop losses. I was watching the order flow. I saw lots of buyers come in, and my 2 contracts of MES I had, I took one out there and I took the other one out there, and it was a good job because it eventually did take out that high, that candle, and then it did go off, but we just couldn't get through this opening range low. So kind of waited and waited. I normally don't like trading past midday, and then I saw a perfect opportunity. We can see we had this inverse shoulder setting up. So we've got the left shoulder, head, and we've got the right shoulder here. You could argue and say this is the right shoulder, depends, it's all down to, it's all subjective. And so I drew the neckline in as well, and look what we had. We had this perfect breakout and retest of the neckline, and that was around 12:30. Volume wise, the only thing that put me off, we did have lack of volume, but we did have aggressive buyers coming in at that point as well. So even though the volume was a bit reduced but we had cumulative delta, there was a bit of a divergence coming into that as well. So it was a half risk. I took a half a risk trade. So should have taken 2, maybe 3 contracts of MES on that candle, but I just took the one, and it's on the break of that candle. You can see that the entry on the next candle here. Another thing is it broke out above this trend line, retested it, so it also broke above this 200 moving average. I've just lost my screen. So broke above the 200 and retested. So it was a couple of confirmations. Another confirmation, it was above this volume shelf, so I was happy to use this volume shelf here as a stop, and I was using that as exactly where I did place my stop below. And also another strategy I like playing is the RBI, so the red bar inside. So you've got a big aggressive move up, you've got a smaller red bar, and then the break of that bar. It's a great strategy, and it usually precedes that preceding a change of trend. And we had one thing I did notice in the opening hour and a half of the market was we had a massive cumulative delta divergence. Let's just move that over onto my screen for a second. So I'm going to go back to 9:30. You can see quite clearly here we had market open at 8 o'clock, sideways action, and we started to have lower lows, and then we had lots of aggressive selling, all this aggressive selling, but we didn't see aggressive selling off. The aggressive sellers were selling, but the buyers were absorbing all of that pressure. We absorbed it there, and then the sellers gave in a bit there, pulled back, we absorbed it again there. You can see all this absorption happening. Aggressive selling orders coming in. This is the cumulative delta I'm looking at, and you can see the divergence. And then as soon as we started putting in some more aggressive buying orders in, especially when we got to this 12.30, you can see the price was turning around as well. So the sellers have been absorbed by the buyers, and the buyers took over. And this 12.30, this is exactly where we took that RBI I just spoke about. So it broke the trend, broke the neckline of the head and shoulders, broke out, retested, and so that was another confirmation. 12.30 candle there as well. So this is my entry area here, and then I held it up, and I got out as we broke that candle there. I am currently in NQ, MMQ, and this is on my other top step account, and that's doing very well. That was up almost $1,000 when I last checked. It's up $850, and I've taken one contract off at the high. So I'm going to hold on that, on trailing that basically on the 15-minute chart. So this is my cumulative delta chart, and I use this to look for absorption, and I look for reversals, and let's just put that back. And you know, that's a chart. It just shows me what's going on inside these candles. So here we were looking for a sell-off, but I can see the absorption happening in real time, and that's the reason I probably shouldn't have taken the short. And definitely on this big wide range candle there, we didn't have the same massive volume that came with it as well, so it should have been some alarm bells really. But you know, we live and learn. I was probably a bit annoyed because I stopped out on this mistake, and so I was trying to find a trade, and I didn't want to be left behind. But this trade here, the red bar inside, or the RBI, and then as it pushed up, it was great. I think it hit 4R. That's a 4R target, that was. So nice, easy 4R, which made up for these two losses. It's a shame I was at half risk, because that was a 2R loss here and a 4R win there. And so basically, on half risk as well, I'm pretty much break even for the day, with including slippage. And that's my trade for today. Decent day, decent, you know, relatively decent. You know, ignoring this trade here, I had one losing trade and one 4R trade. On a normal day, I would have had 1R loss there, and that would have been a 3R gain. But you know, today's one of those funny days. So one other trade I did take, and that was Bitcoin. So I just realised that these are only trial accounts I'm using on Top Step. So I'm just trying to pass out evals. So I want to be trading both Top Step and Apex. So I took a short on Bitcoin when we broke this flag just here. This is MBT, and I took profits off down here, and to be fair, I probably shouldn't have got out, but I got out there when we started seeing this green come in. But you can see I'm still doing okay on MMQ. It's currently up $800, and I've already pocketed 420 with 700 left in unrealized. So again, another decent day using my Top Step account. You know, it's kind of my play around account. I don't really trade from it. I'm just learning the new Top Step system. I've only been a customer of theirs for a month or two, so I'm just learning how the platform works. And I do quite like it. It's web based, but it doesn't give all the details like on NinjaTrade. I've got what do you call it? My order flows and my footprint charts, which I'll just show you. And so these are a dedicated indicator I built, and I use this all the time to find out where volume is going on in the actual bars. So these are my order flow charts, and I use cumulative delta, and I mainly change off trade for this 5-minute chart. And I've got some buttons here which lets me get in and out of trades relatively quickly, straightforward. Okay, thank you. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will be back. I'm back every day live at 9 AM Eastern time, where I go through all the levels I'm watching today. In fact, if you watch today's show, pre-market show, you would have seen I said keep an eye on this 58.18 area. I marked it up as well for a potential bounce, and look what happened, it did bounce, but you know, like I said, I made a mistake on that entry, got in by mistake. So that was a great, you could have easily got a good, easy 1R if you averaged in or bought the break and retest, then you could have easily got 2-3R out of that. Okay, back tomorrow. Thanks for watching.